I
you know.
I get it. Drake May is bigger than Jaden Daniels was, and when I
Yeah.
think, how many Drake Mays did I shrug, Joel?
Oh my gosh.
Can you sit down? Can you sit down? Sit down. Down. Can
That
you
looks like a
sit?
fake background, by the way. Is that fake or real?
No, it's my mantle. Lucky, come here. I gotta do a trick. Come here, Lucky.
Something tells me Jen decorated that and you didn't.
All right, whenever you're ready.
So the great thing, Scott, is that this will be released on Christmas. So this is your Christmas present to the world. So Merry Christmas, everyone, if you're watching this.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year.
All right. So Scott, aka Seahawk 33, aka Lucky's Card Shop, was the kind of guy who will never talk about himself. So I'm going to talk about him right now with him in the room. Hi, Scott. How are you, by the way?
Wow, I can't wait to hear this. I'm doing great. How are you, Joel?
Scott is the godfather of CSN. CSN stands for Chill Streamers Network. We will be talking about that. That's a tease. Um, no one loves the hobby more than my friend Scott. No one is as selfless, helpful, and more positive than Scott, aka Lucky's Card Shop. I am incredibly honored to have him on the stream. I talk about this when I'm streaming. I literally would not be here if it wasn't for Scott. Scott's not my dad. I don't think that'd be weird. But when I first started buying, Sunday, like Scott was my church every Sunday morning from 7 a.m. until 10 a.m. I did not miss a minute. I loved what he brought to the community. I loved his cards. I loved everything about him. I loved his family. And so when I decided to start selling, he was the first one to reach out to me, and he got on multiple phone calls with me, helped me out with all the fun little things like shipping and all the things that you just don't really think about as a streamer. So, Scott, thank you so much. To have you on this podcast is it means the world to me. A couple other fun things about Scott. He's a master mispronunciator. That's something that you can look forward to if you're in the show. He will butcher a name. He will butcher a insert. It is fantastic. He hates Drake May. He
Passionately.
famously hates him. Famously used to shred Drake May cards live on his shows. No one's ever done that before. No one ever will. Now that Drake
100.
May, does it sting a little now that Drake May's hot?
Oh, we were just talking about that. Like, I think, and it wasn't like base cards, like his silver, his purple shocks. And I did auction 100. And I literally take it and I would shred it on stream. And then I put in a baggie. And then, as stupid as I am, not only that, then I put another real Drake May in there because, I didn't want them to get a shredded card. So, yeah, I'm thinking of the money that I just, pissed away. But it is
Well,
what
it
it
was
is.
worth it though. It was worth it because that was a very passionate hate, and he still is. I mean, anytime someone runs a Drake May, you will see vomit emojis from Scott. Sometimes six of them. This morning, he put six of them. Very hateful. Let's talk about Scott from a numbers perspective. So, absolutely, you've been streaming for how long again?
On 17, 18, almost a year and a half now, 18
Okay,
months.
year and a half. That's a long time. So Scott, Lucky's Card Shop is a premier shop. Less than 1 day shipping. He's going to talk about the importance of that later. 22,000 sold, over 20,000 followers. Absolutely gigantic for only streaming for a year and a half. So let's take a step back. So obviously, you look at those numbers, you're like, wow, these are massive. But you started just like everyone else, your first show. Walk me through your first show, Scott.
Was there's train wrecks and there's what I experienced, and I tell this story on my stream all the time. So I literally the first show I had one and one other person because it counts you, and nobody bought anything. I ran card after card, and then but the next time I had three people in there, and there was one and somebody else, and then obviously one other person, and I'm running cards, and I remember this is when McCarthy and Drake Mays and Jade Daniels. And I'm literally like, look, what do you all want? I mean, I was like almost begging, like, I'll run whatever you want. I don't care. Just tell me. And then all of a sudden, I finally got someone to communicate with me in chat. And it said very simply, no, I don't want to buy any cards. I love the train wreck of a first time streamer. And I said to myself, Joel, I'm a very motivated, and that guy pissed me off so bad. I was like, you know what? I'm 55 years old, but you know what? I'm going to make this into a successful channel. God help me. And it really, I don't know who that person was. I wish I could remember their name, but it motivated me because
Yeah.
I really wanted to build something to prove them wrong, that I could build something on a channel. My kids thought I was nuts.
Well, what he gave you was bulletin board material when you think about it, right?
You know, that's what it is. I think a lot of the people in this world, we're all pretty competitive. If not, you'll never make it on this app. But we're competitive from a good standpoint, and there can be a team aspect of it. But it's funny, Joel, and you might not even remember this. Might have been before your time. So when I first started going, so I started to when I got 10 people in the room, I thought I'd made it. I thought I was it. But literally, they would buy like a Jaden Daniels, and I'd give them another Jaden Daniels, another Jaden Daniels, another. Literally, we'd give them like five additional Jaden Daniels. And
Yeah.
again, I wanted to overdeliver. I wanted to give them so much value. You had to come back to my next show.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was a big part of the success.
Well, one thing that makes you stand out besides a lot of other things, but Scott is amazing at remembering your name, your real name, and who your PC is. So anytime you're on the show, he's like, "Oh, Joel-ATX, great to see you. I got this pack refuse." And like nobody does that. I mean, there's so much to learn just from as a streamer, just by hanging out in one of his shows. Let's talk about CSN. You are the godfather of CSN. To my knowledge, I don't think anyone's ever created kind of like a mini network of just streamers that are aligned, if you will. So let's talk about CSN. How did it start, Scott?
Started out as a complete and utter joke. So literally, I was on my stream one day, and there's a lot of yelling and screaming and like, chat, chat, and it drives me crazy. And I was on my stream one day. I was like, what not could be something different? Like this channel is gonna be something different. I'm not gonna yell. I'm not gonna scream. And I'm not gonna feel bad about what you're bidding, because this is a hobby. It's a social network and can be a positive place. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start a network. It's gonna be just chill streamers. It's gonna be the Chill Streamers Network. And I set them on a stream, and then I got, four or five people were in there, and obviously people in my stream were streamers, so we started a little Discord. And all of a sudden we had like five people, then it was 10 people. And I think as we sit there today, you can search under the hashtag CSN, and we have over 150 streamers, and they're not going to yell at you, they're not going to scream at you, and they're really here for the hobby. They want to have a good time. So yeah, I mean, I'd be remiss. It wasn't me. It really is a network of people
Mhm.
that really have a joint belief. And, it just continues to grow and it continues to prosper. It's fun to see how, I mean, look how you've grown. And I mean, you have your own five with Joel-ATX. You have an amazing stream. Like, if you like this kind of stuff, like hashtag CSN.
Amen, brother. Well, speaking for everyone, we're so thankful you created it, and it's only just the beginning. It's going to be so exciting to see how CSN evolves and gets larger and scales. So it's amazing. Thank you so much for creating that. We are appreciative. So let's talk a little about streaming. We'll just
Can I
go
stop
ahead.
you one thing? Let
Go
me give
ahead,
you
please.
one other thing, because it's not about whether hashtag CSN grows or not. I don't care. You know
Yeah.
what I'm really excited about, Joel? Watching how that concept is growing, because there's a lot of similar people that have the same beliefs. It's funny. I was watching. There's one called the Aloha Movement, right? There's the Wrecking Crew, National Card. Like there's all these networks of people, and you all have different names or whatever. But there is literally a unified effort out there to make Whatnot an amazing place. And I applaud each and every one of those networks to keep growing and keep expanding. So I had to shout out to all those folks as well.
And I'm glad you did that. All great people, streamers, organizations, whatever you want to call them, great, great communities. And the bigger they get, the better Whatnot becomes. Um, let's talk about as far as advice. So you've had, I mean, think how many shows you had. How many shows do you think you've had, Scott?
I literally couldn't even. I mean, I used to do a couple times a week. I'm down to just one time a week, but I would say closing on probably 100 shows, and that doesn't count all the little pop-ups that I'll do. But yeah, a lot of shows. Best
You,
advice, I gotta tell you,
yeah.
I screwed up. I screwed up so bad on the. So here's the thing. So if you're a streamer, you're just starting out and you're on whatnot, you want to sell. Start with the end in mind. So each and every one of the people that starts out and whatnot has this dream of this big thing, or maybe opening their own store or something to that effect. And where I screwed up, I was a big Seahawks. I'm a big Seahawks fan, so I was called Seahawk 33. But you
Yeah.
know what? I was like, that's not my ultimate goal. And what if they're a San Francisco 49er fan, like in Seahawks stream. So I literally did a brand change in the middle and I lost followers. Like
Mhm.
it was taking a step back to take two steps forward. But
Sure.
if I was a new streamer, before you start streaming and thinking about what your name is,
Mhm.
think about what you want it to be. If you got to be the biggest thing that you're going to franchise out,
Mhm.
have the end in mind as you start out. That's number one. Number two, fast shipping. Jen got my wife 30 years of marriage. We've been together 35. She
Congrats.
literally, as soon as the lights go off, Joel, the second the lights go off, we have a train. We literally have it spread out and we pack every single order within 2 hours of those lights going off because we're going to get them to that mailbox because we are so passionate about people to get. I know I love to get my cards fast.
Yeah.
USPS is terrible. They're horrible. So like anything we can do to get it there as fast as possible, we're going to do. So I mean that would be the other advice is I take a lot of pride in that under 1 day shipping. That's a lot. And that's because every single thing is packed up within 2 hours of the show ending.
Behind the scenes is what we got going on. Not too many more to go. That's all that's left. 103 orders today.
Yeah, what I love is when I buy from Scott's North Carolina, I'm Texas. I know I'm always going to get it on Wednesday or Thursday, and it's just so comforting to know, especially as a streamer, inventory is king, right? And so, yeah, it's just it's amazing what he does, and I think I can tell you it's so important to me that it's the first thing I look at when I go into a streamer's show. I take a look and see how fast they ship. If it's 2 days or more, I typically won't buy. It's that important to me. So. You're preaching to the choir, brother. So on that note, Scott, you've done over 100 shows. Can you one thing I always notice is how well prepared you are when you start all the way from the start, all the way till the end. Everything is perfectly planned out. Can you kind of walk us through that process?
It's fun. So it started first. I'm a DGen, so I buy a lot of cards. So I have cards coming in. But Jen and I put a lot of time and effort way before the stream ever starts. And so the first thing is I literally get my cards and I separate them in. I have my slabs, I have my case hits, I have my RPAs, I have my patches, I have my numbered cards, and then I have, let's call them the liquid players. And then what I try to do is put them in a sequence of so I'm never just getting, one after another. So a lot of my case hits and so forth, I'll put on the back wall, just for that eye candy, right? For that eye factor. But I'll introduce them about every 10 auctions. I'll rip one off the back wall. But I wanted it unique. So I try to go through the different teams. I wish I started to do all 32 teams, Joel. Nobody likes the Jets. Nobody wants the Jets. Nobody likes the Titans. Like it's
Sorry,
just
sorry, Dave. Sorry,
yeah,
Dave.
yeah. DT, sorry about it if you're out there. Sorry. It's just there's more interesting teams. So Arizona Cardinals is another one. But like, so I love my case, and then literally just I've got a sequence of and then I go off strip. So over to my right hand side, I literally have a stack of cards sorted by team, and I've got patches, RPAs, and so forth. So if somebody in the middle of the stream's like, come on, any Raiders? Sure, I can grab it right there. I also have a stack of Disney. I have a stack of soccer. I have a stack of basketball, a stack of baseball.
Yep.
So literally, I've got sequence over here. I have back wall in front of me when people want, kind of big, nice cards. And then I've got the request line over here to use a radio term. But that's a bit that takes a lot of time and effort. So I put a lot of thought, just like you do when you do your pick six. I know
Oh
you
yeah.
put a lot of time and effort because you want a good experience. And I think that's one of the biggest things. Streamers, you can't just go on there and just run cards. I mean, you can, but it's not nearly the experience when there's a cadence to what you're doing.
I completely agree. And there's a lot of things that I love about streaming. I think prepping for a show is my number one favorite thing to do. I put so much work into it and it's so fun. So, and you taught me that from the get-go is like be deliberate, have a plan, don't just show up and throw up. Like make sure you're telling a story in a sense, right? Throughout your show. And yep, I take that from you. Okay, so one of the things that Scott's been talking about lately is the importance of actually filling your store up with some inventory. Scott, if you can comment on that.
So it's weird. I actually get a bunch of what are they custom cards, right? I get them from Garage Sale Greg. Shout out Garage Sale Greg,
Mhm.
and it's all the Trumps and stuff to that effect. And I actually put them in my store, and all of a sudden, they'll sell on stream. But I get these random, like every day, someone will buy one of those, and I put them in the store for $7 or whatever. And literally, I would say at least every other day, someone is buying something out of my store. So I think like the next step is I need to put hundreds of cards in my store so that when I'm
Yeah.
not streaming, it could be a tool, a mechanism that's already selling for you 24/7. Like we're so stupid not to be doing this, Joel.
We're leaving money on the table, right? I mean, we automatically think like, oh, I got to put it on eBay if I don't think this is going to sell and whatnot. That's silly. So after this, I'm gonna go put stuff in my store because it's silly of me not to.
It's funny. They talk about people like wealth. If you read like these entrepreneurial magazines and so forth, and they say what's the secret to wealth is multiple revenue streams.
Sure.
And why is our card business any different? You probably should have cards on eBay. You should have cards in your Whatnot store. You should be doing Whatnot. You could be doing card shows. So, like, having
Yep.
multiple revenue streams for your card business just makes sense. And through 18 months, I just, like an idiot, figured out like I should be putting cards in my store, but I am now.
Let's talk about like, I think I know the answer. What is your favorite thing that you love about streaming on whatnot, Scott?
Yeah, I think this is one of the things that people forget. It's a social app. It's funny. I was talking to Emps the other day, and shout out to Emps.
You mean
But I got to tell
EMPs?
you, I'm
EMPs?
sorry.
Were you on that raid? He raided somebody? He raided Scruffix, and Scruffix kept calling him EMPs. It was hilarious. Anyway, keep going. We were dying.
Jim and I had the pleasure of meeting Emps. He's from California, but he was in South Carolina. We went to a show. We did a live show and just did giveaways. But
Mhm.
it's funny. It truly is a social app, and I love to just talk to people. I love the fact that we're doing this right now.
Yeah.
Um, Talking to people, talking about cards, talking about gambling, talking about fantasy football, talking about anything and everything. But it's kind of fun because with streaming, I've learned I like so much more than football. I used to be so football,
Yeah.
and I remember when I learned from Dinah. I think you even mentioned it on that stream or
Yep.
when you had five. Like I was like, wow, this guy's doing different stuff. Like I want to do Pokemon. I want to do soccer, baseball, basketball. It's so much more fun, and it allows me to talk to different. Now, again, as you talked about, I don't call them Charizard. I call them Chizzers, right? I don't call them Pikachu, they're Pika de Gallo to me. So
Pico de
when you
Gallos.
come at
Yep.
my stream, just know I make my own names, my own variations, but I'm true to who I am. That's just again, you love it, don't like it, but man, it's fun. I love the social aspect. I mean, Joel, you do this as well. We'll just randomly do a pop up and do a bunch of giveaways, right?
Yeah.
We love this community. I like hanging out and talking to people.
Yeah.
And so I'd say that first and foremost, it's never been about the money for me. And I know everybody says that, but like, again, whether we get cooked or we do great on a card, my life's not going to change a bit.
Mhm.
But I go back to me as a kid. Like, I love this hobby. So.
Yeah. I mean, you go into a Lucky's Card Shop show, and it's just like the energy, the positivity, the passion, it all just you can feel it. And it's a fun hang is what it is. So, man, I'm trying to think of how many hours I've spent on your shows and dollars, hours and dollars. Let's go off script. Let's talk about the holidays. Let's talk about the football lull right now. Obviously, the first playoff game is January 10th. By the way, congrats on your Seahawks, killing it this year. Um, how do you as a streamer start preparing for the upcoming playoffs?
No, it's really interesting. So this time of the year, and I remember this from last year, as you get into there's like a lull in November and December. So there's a couple of things that I start to transition to. One, I go back to as many liquid players as possible, right? So the Joe Burrows, even like on the basketball side, this is when I'm going to sell more Jordans and Kobe's, stuff that never goes out of style.
Sure.
But then you start to pay attention to either A, who are those up and comers? So like Quinn Ewers is getting ready to have his first start. I'm going to make sure I have some Quinn Ewers out there. Who's going to be in the playoffs, right? Drake May, Sam Darnold. All of these people that are going to start to go deep in the playoffs are going to have a spike in their cards as you go forward. So prepare for that now. Figure out who your playoff teams are and start buying today who you think could potentially be in the Super Bowl. All their cards are going to spike.
That's such great advice. So I'm going to share with I might do a different podcast because I ran some numbers on teams that will most likely make the playoffs. Obviously, you want to collect those quarterbacks. You want to collect the rookies. You want to think about like who could be the breakout player of each team. Who's the veteran that's going to is going to get the targets. You know he's going to get the carries. Their value is going to go up as well. So yeah, it's so important to make sure. And right now, I mean, it's December 19th. You need to purchase kind of right now and get ready for the January hustle because especially with USPS being a little slow as well. So great
Oh, also, you
advice,
know what
my
else is
friend.
coming up though, Joe?
What's
You
that?
know what else is coming up? I'll give you a little tip. So it's really, and a lot of people don't know about this, but in the US, the World Cup is this summer. So
Oh
this
my
is a
gosh.
time where absolutely I would start, and I'll give you a couple of names to think about. Lamine Yamal, right? Lionel Messi, like all or Holland, Holland. There different people call it different things. Like
Yep.
there's some international players that there's going to be a huge spike in about 3 to 4 months. So the more you can start to load up on their cards now, they're going to be household names come this summer. So little tip for you out there: load up on your soccer.
You are so right. What about American players?
Pulisic is always still going to be, a big brand. I got my guy from Charlotte FC just moved out to Charlotte FC, but Patrick Aguiman is a
Okay.
striker who's getting a lot of playing time for the United States. But Pulisic is always going to be Tim Reed. Tim Reed he also plays for Charlotte FC. I'm a little biased, but
Okay.
there's a couple names to look out for. But Pulisic always sells like hotcakes.
You guys see how Scott got soccer into this conversation? Do you guys see that? Classic Lucky right there. The dude loves soccer. He actually coaches soccer. Um, I want you to think about, Scott, a challenge that you had throughout your career streaming and like how you overcame it. Can you tell us about that?
Challenge. You asked me that question. I didn't even think about. You think the biggest challenge? Actually, I know the biggest challenge. So as I've built out the different networks in CSN, and it's funny, people have an expectation of what you're providing for them. And, here's me from a buyer standpoint on whatnot. DGen. Like I spend so much money on this app, but I'm not just going to buy from you because, oh, you bought a card for me. Like it's not a
Right.
tick for tack. Like again, I try to make it a business where I literally am sensible, but I have to deal with so much drama. And Joel, you hate drama. I hate drama.
Yeah.
I'm just not here for it. I want to buy cards.
Yeah.
So I think one of the biggest things that I did is I literally started to step away because I think you have a name for it. It's called pity buying. I'm no longer pity buying, and what I mean by that is just like some people will do like lots of cards, a bunch of base. Like I'm just not doing anymore. I
Yeah.
can't sell it. I give them away, and I'm just wasting money. I'd much rather buy bigger things. I'll still give them away. Like I love this community, but I'm not pity buying anymore. But I got to tell you, if you have fire cards, I'm in your stream.
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. Yeah. And you've got great taste in cards as well. I noticed that from day one. Awesome. Um, let's see here. What's next for Lucky's Card Shop?
It's funny. I've got a couple of different things.
Okay.
I want to choose. 2026 is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to try some different things. Some of them are really simple. Like I might get into. I'm not a big breaker. I might try some just for the fun of it.
Mhm.
I may try some games. I mean, again, Joel. You've innovated this freaking hobby with your pick six. It's fun. It's entertaining. But
And
I
it's
want to try.
100% compliant. It's
Yes.
100% compliant.
Yes. No
Okay.
jail for you. No
No
jail
jail.
time for you.
Okay.
So here's my next idea. January 10th, and I've actually got a question I'm going to ask you in a second. Actually, I've got
Ooh,
a
exciting.
thing for it. So you ready for this one?
Sure. Whoa, that sounds risque. I love it. After
So
dark.
I've always I've always wanted to go on like a Saturday night, and all the big boys and girls are up there, right?
Oh yeah.
And you know what? I want to bring something different to a Saturday night. So I'm going to try once a month to have After Dark with Lucky's and Friends. And here's what it's going to look like. I'll start it off. And when you come at 8 o'clock Eastern time, because the other time zones don't matter, 8 o'clock Eastern time it'll start.
Ooh.
I'm going to go for 30 minutes. I know, Central time zone. I'm going to go for 30 minutes. And it's nothing but fire giveaways and fire cards.
Okay.
And the shipping is absolutely free. It'll be free shipping, 30 minutes, fire cards, fire giveaways. And at the end of my 30 minutes, I'm going to introduce one of my friends.
Hmm.
And I'm going to ask you to join me on this quest because I would love for you to be part of the first show because I'm going to ask three friends to join me that night and I will raid into them. And then
Okay.
that person would do free shipping,
Hmm.
fire giveies, right into the next person, right to the next person, and then they would finalize with me, and I'm going to do a big giveaway at the end. And I want to do that once a month on Saturdays. It's going to call it After Dark because I feel like we can reach into all different communities. And I
Sure.
want to get people more and more exposure. I want to meet new people. I told you this is a social network. So come reach out to me if you'd like to be a part of this, if you like this idea. And I'd like to get some bigger followers for a lot of different people. And let's
Sure.
cross pollinate and have a great experience and with some streamers that maybe you don't see all the time. So, anyway, we're going to try that. And my question to you, Joel-ATX, is I would like you to be one of my first, I guess, friends to join me on this little thing. It's going to start on January 10th.
That's obviously a big yes. I would be honored to do that. I think it's a great idea, especially with other networks kind of popping up. It'd be great to get them involved as well. I love that. I think that's great. January 10th, everyone. Put it on your calendar. January 10th. Let's see that poster again. Let's see that
Yep.
poster.
1 o'clock Eastern time. And by the way, you can bookmark it on Whatnot right now. You'll see the
Boom.
show. It's already posted. Um, January 10th. So After Dark with Lucky and Friends. And like I said, really excited where that might take it. And again, how do we grow this hobby? How do we grow this app? And in nowhere did I say, I'm going to yell or scream at you and make a killing off you. So I hope,
Yeah.
all of us make a couple dollars on cards, but who doesn't want to hang out for some free shipping and free giveaways for a 30-minute segment? You can deal with me for that, right, Joel?
Absolutely. So I talk to Scott probably daily, but we've never met. So I want to pitch and plug the Dallas card show. So Dallas Card Show, it's March 12th. I believe it's a Thursday. That's actually Scott's birthday. So we're going to be celebrating Scott's birthday in Dallas. I think we're gonna have over 20 CSN members, maybe more. And obviously, we welcome anyone. It's an amazing card show. It's a great central location for everyone. So, if you want a chance to hang out, I would love to see any and each everyone who's watching this to come join us in Dallas. It's going to be an absolute blast, and we're going to throw Scott the biggest birthday party. Happy 29th, Scott, right?
Yeesh. So Joel, I get to do a reversal because this is our fun. It's a stream. I've been looking so forward to doing this with you.
Yeah,
Can I do a reverse on you? Can I ask you a question?
sure, why not?
So, Joel, I've known you from the beginning of your Whatnot experience, and I've seen you grow. I've seen your channel. You're extremely entertaining. I want you to tell your channel, why did you decide to do this? Why did you decide to do a podcast? And what is your ultimate goal with it? Like, I genuinely am curious because
Yeah.
I don't know the answer, but I freaking love what you're doing.
World domination is my end in mind. So that's right there. It's written on my wall. World domination. You know, we're so alike, and I think we find ourselves just incredibly passionate, always thinking about cards. And so this is just another really fun outlet for me to do. I'm not going to make any money on it. That's obvious. It's a freaking podcast, but I can't tell you how much fun I have doing this, Scott. Just talking cards with streamers that I admire, friends that I have in the hobby, and so that's really it. It's so fun for me. I also like the editing and all that nerdy stuff on the back end too. But this is just a chance. I mean, you and I could talk for hours, right? But for brevity, I want to keep it under 30 minutes. But that's really it. It's just another way. Like if I'm not streaming, I'm thinking about cards or like, how to improve my stream. And this is just another great way to kind of give back at the same time. Because listen, there is not a lot of content out there for streamers. There really isn't. We've all been there. You go on YouTube and you're like, how do I set up shipping or how do I procure inventory? And there's nothing there. So hopefully this is kind of a guiding light for some of the new streamers or even people that are struggling. Maybe they can pick up something from us. And so, yeah, that's the reason I do it. Thank you for asking. You're the very first person to ask me a question.
Something you bring to the table, Joel, and I know we're a little off script there, but I think it's the positivity you bring. Like you truly enjoy that. I know we both share that. I think that's why we endear each other is we truly enjoy this hobby. And
Yep.
I would share with anybody that ever listens to this podcast, if you're like in a rut or you feel like, had a rough show or whatever, remember why you're doing this. And in here, man, enjoy this hobby. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's so important not to get wrapped around the axles and like, you take a hit on a card and it ruins your day. Like you said, like it's not going to affect your life. And for every bad hit, there's always like it's just so worth it, right? And so it's so important just to enjoy yourself when you're doing this because I say this on every single podcast, streaming is a lot of work, but it's so worth it. And
This
so
isn't our profession. It's completely our obsession.
it
It's
really
not our
is.
profession. It's our obsession.
I love that. All right. Scott, I'm out of questions. Let me see if I can think of one on the fly. Okay, so I asked Kobe this. I love this question. God forbid it's something happens and you have to evacuate your house. What's the one card you grab?
It's not even a hesitation. I have a Mark Mosley who is a kicker for the Washington Redskins when I was growing up. We share the same birthday, March 12th, 1970.
Yeah.
And he was an old kicker for the Washington Redskins. He was the last kicker that would toe the ball. So those of you may don't know, I collect autographed kickers. Mark Mosley autograph. And I think without question, that's the one. And can I say one more thing before we adjourn?
Of course, my friend.
Shout out to my wife, Jen Gott. You never
Yeah.
see her on you never see her on camera. She barely talks on the stream. But having her, you've seen videos of my kids helping me. TJ,
Yep.
my son, stream. Shout out to TJ. Charlie and Megan spent literally behind the cameras hacking every single Sunday. I have an amazing network, and I don't know if that'll make the cut, but I want to take time to shout out to them. I love them.
Oh, it'll make the cut because they're the best. And it's a true team effort. And I think that's what's so engaging about your shows. You know what I mean? And so keep up the amazing work, Scott. Thank you. It was such a pleasure to have you on. We're definitely going to do this again.
That way, man. Keep rolling, man. Keep going. I love what you're doing.
Thanks, Scott. All right, buddy. Take care.
See you, bud.